You know, guys, sometimes a video drops across my feed, and it's just one of those videos that no matter how long goes by, no matter how long it's been sitting on the shelf, how much the algorithm might have begun to disregard it, I simply have to react to it. I'm compelled, possessed, jonesing to react to such a piece of content. And today's piece of content is one such piece of content. Oh, dear. Let's do this.
G'day guys and gal. I can comfortably say that out of everything that I've experienced in my reasonably short life, intercourse is by far my favourite thing. Honestly, whenever I get down or upset, I literally think to myself, damn, could really go for a root right now. A satisfied person is a happy person. The only thing more prevalent than death and war in Warhammer 40k is sex. That's not a joke. Every person that dies requires multiple sessions of sex to replace. If 1 trillion people die in one day, it takes about 10 trillion bangs to replace them. But with such insane biological diversity between the different races and factions in 40k, that method of reproduction varies greatly, from good old-fashioned missionary all the way to spreading fungal spores. Before we get started, the newest and personally my favourite
Nothing's
major
sexier than those fungal spores.
Right. Ra, the Golden Sun. Yes, he's based off who you think he is, and yes, his name is a reference to that scene. If you know, you know. Wielding dual swords, standing tall, and ready to wreck some tits, Ra would make the perfect Blade Champion proxy, or perhaps an Emperor's Children champion. I've been working on this guy for months, constantly going back and forth, fixing and tweaking until I got him perfect, so it feels so good to finally launch him. On top of that, all major minis now come with bases, either custom printed ones or the standard GW size ones. So for example, all Ra models come with a 40mm base. The $10,000 painting competition is also still going with over a month left, and we've had some awesome entries, whether it be Leroy striking Lord of the Night, North's Chaplain, which is wow, look at that sword. Then there is the Mad Lad Mark, who did an amazing job painting the big-ass King Ork. There is still plenty of time to order, receive your model, and paint for the comp. There are multiple cash prizes, so just because you might not be the best painter doesn't mean you aren't in the running. And if minis aren't your thing, the MajorKill Christmas merch is now live. Dice, desk pads, and a lot more goodies are available by themselves or in a pack, including this hat, which, let's be honest, pretty awesome. Today we'll go to each race and faction to determine how they reproduce.
He's like, I don't mean to stroke my own dick too hard, but this hat is great and you should buy it. Why? Because I said so, and I'm great.
I swear.
Silly, but without all this reproduction going on, there would be no hectic galactic warfare. Let's get into it.
Nice.
Starting us off with how the Imperium reproduces. Yes, I know it seems like a waste of time, as we all know that a bit of PP in the vagine gets the job done. Well, at least some of you know that at least. But in 40k, it's just not that straightforward. Yes, for the everyday Imperial citizen, vaginal penetration equals reproduction. However, it is quite different for the sub-factions or even rich Imperial citizens. For example, an affluent lesbian couple were able to fuse their DNA and artificially create a child with no male or fatherly input, so their child was equally theirs. The Mechanicus vat grows its people artificially, and then determines their fate based on their talent and potential. The best will go on to become tech priests and the like, whilst the trash will get turned into servitors. As Space Marines and Custodians are edited after birth and cannot or will not reproduce, they come from good old-fashioned fucking. Although it is law-friendly for sisters to battle to get some dick here and there, they aren't known to replenish their numbers via reproduction, more so choosing young devout girls, often orphans, to join their ranks. We don't know shit about how the Sisters of Silence reproduce, since non-blanks find them repulsive and would refuse to fuck them, and it's an order made entirely of females, they more so recruit from finding potent blank women rather than any known breeding program. Overall, pretty standard stuff. The Imperium does make use of cloning in some key areas. For example, the Death Corps of Krieg, everyone's favourite machistic war heroes, are all confirmed to be identical.
Or as I like to call them, the Shovel Knights. I'll dig you good!
Clones. This is why they're able to support such massive regiment numbers despite their obscene casualty rate and inhospitable world. I am kind of bummed though that my theory of the citizens of Krieg just being in one constant fuck off massive orgy isn't correct, but them all being clones is definitely a lot more lore friendly. What about the Eldar? After all, if I could choose anyone to reproduce with, it would be them, despite the fact that the effort would likely result in me getting massacred by their powerful thigh and hip motion. The Eldar still have intercourse. I mean, after all, they spawned a fetish sex god, so they must know a thing or two about it. For the craft orders, they basically need to have multiple spread out sessions of sex, each root depositing more DNA of the father into the mother, until eventually enough sex has occurred for the child to be born. This process takes a decent amount of time, which explains the low birth rate amongst the craft worlds. The Dark Eldar have two methods. Firstly, yes, they can do the slow and steady natural birth, or they just vat grow more Dark Eldar. Most of Dark Elf society is vat grown, with natural births considered.
See, that's actually something I've been wondering about for a while.
Yeah.
Like, where the fuck do the Dark Eldar get more Dark Eldar? Like,
Right.
no one is willingly joining that faction. Like, don't tell me that anyone willingly signs up to be a Dark Eldar. Like, that's not a thing. Stop lying.
It's like, no, they just make them in a big pot.
They make them in a big pot of disgusting sex juice.
They make them out of soup.
Sex soup.
Oh my gosh.
to be a symbol of status, a massive flex. After all, if a Dark Eldar woman feels safe enough to put herself in a vulnerable position by getting pregnant, then she must have some serious wealth and influence. As the Exodites have the same biology as the other Eldar, they too would just need to do the marathon, not a sprint method of banging. This does beg the question though, can the Eldar have multiple genetic fathers? If a male Eldar swaps out for another during the impregnation process and deposits his own DNA, will the child still be viable, or is that a miscarriage speedrun? Well, yeah. Eldar children can have multiple fathers. This is uncommon for Craftworld and Exodite Eldar, who are known to have clean mono relationships, but knowing the Dark Eldar, it'd probably be rare for a child to only have one father.
Right.
As for the Harlequins, it honestly doesn't seem like they reproduce like the other Eldar. They are too busy to get pregnant, instead relying on the call of the Laughing God to entice various disillusioned Eldar into entering the webway and joining the dance. The Tau get down and dirty, just like the other humanoid races. However, they are only allowed to breed with members of the same caste, so Fire Warriors can only fuck Fire Warriors, Water with Water, etc. and so on. Officially, this is to maintain purity of purpose within the caste,
This is
easily defining.
propaganda.
What was that?
This is propaganda.
I know, this is propaganda.
The role of each Tau citizen. However,
Sexy
unofficially,
propaganda.
it's just another
Yep.
method of control
Because
imposed by
they
the
do not
Imperiums.
look like
The
that.
Farside enclaves have done away with this rule, meaning any Tau in their empire can bang whoever they want. In practice, most
They do
This
not.
is still super rare though, as the different castes prefer to hang out with their own members.
Tau prefer members of their own caste. The Orks don't have dicks, pussies, or gender. They are extremely progressive. Hence, they cannot reproduce via any form of intercourse, which, let's be honest, it's definitely a good thing. Imagine how grimdark 40k would be if the Orks pillaged and raped their way through Imperial worlds.
Yeah.
No, Orks instead
Yeah.
spread spores whenever their testosterone flares, during a battle, during a fight, during the gathering of a war. All these actions trigger spore production. The quality of the Orks that come from the spores depend on where they are released. As they are fungal spores, they prefer humid, shady weather over something like a desert. They also thrive in corpses. It's very common for an Ork to be killed only for its own dead body to become a nutrient-rich breeding ground for its spores to grow and mature into Orks. This is why a war against the Orks isn't over until the corpses are torched. It's
Right.
very common for Ork incursions to be beaten, and then the planet needs to deal with Ork pests for the next few hundred years. An easy one now, the Necrons. How do these cockless, soulless robots reproduce? Well, that's the neat part. They don't. By performing the biotransference, the Necrons gave up their ability to reproduce, instead relying on the fact that they were now immortal.
Nah, man. This is propaganda. They absolutely reproduce. It's like the flesh tears. A male Necron and a female Necron will just get together and start banging their metallic crotches together. It sounds like church bells in France. Is that you, Quasimodo? Are you ringing the great bell?
Oh no.
A nearly vulnerable to maintain their numbers. This does mean that the Empire is slowly but steadily dying. Every Necron that is destroyed
Sanctuary!
cannot be replaced. If the Necrons figure out how to return to blood and flesh bodies, then it'll be a different story. But for now, the Necrons haven't created a new Necron in over 60 million years. On the other end of the spectrum, the Tyranids breed like motherfuckers. They don't have reproductive organs or follow any standard breeding pattern. More so, they just create each Tyranid they
they're
need.
pests.
Right. They're literally rapidly mutating
Giant
demon bugs.
Space pests.
In breeding
Otherwise
pools.
known as
Honestly, despite how
cockroaches.
fleshy and biological Tyranids look, seeing them as robots and not animals makes them a lot more understandable. They make new Tyranids like we make robots. Their devouring of biomatter is like us digging up oil. Even the hive mind could just be seen as one big AI, controlling his robots via their synapse or Wi-Fi extender Tyranids. But yeah, despite seeming like a great subject for a tentacle hentai video, the Tyranids are very emotionless and efficient with their reproduction. Taking a leaf out of their parents' book, the gene stealers also rapidly reproduce. Once a gene stealer cult is able to form on a planet, the goal is to infect as much of the planet as possible with their DNA. Hence, gene stealers are busy as fuck, banging everyone and poking holes in their own condoms. The Leagues of Votann are the latest 4K faction, and they deserve recognition on these faction videos I do. Every member of the Leagues are actually clones, but not in the conventional sense. Like, there are no identical kin out there. Basically, they have these large gene pools stored, and then they mix and match genes to artificially create new squats. It's a step above just vat-growing people, as they are cloning DNA to create life. This process also allows the clones to have distinct souls, which has been an issue with cloning in the past. However, this doesn't mean the Leagues of Votann can't reproduce naturally. They just don't. Well, at least the ones a part of the Leagues don't. The squats on Necromunda don't have access to an ancestor core nor the cloning technology, so they have to stick it in to keep their numbers up. How about Chaos and Demons? How do they reproduce? Well, despite some Slaneshi demons looking very reproducible, all demons are energy and not biology.
Why would he say what he said? Why would you say what you said, MajorKill?
Stick it in to keep their numbers up. How about Chaos and Demons?
Show the
How do they
picture you
reproduce?
showed.
Well, despite some Slaneshi demons.
Why would you say some of them look highly reproducible and then show that? MajorKill. I have some serious questions. And I need answers to them. Because of all the things that are it,
He's like, look.
this ain't it, Chief.
He's like, look at all of those titties.
He's like, I could put my hands anywhere. Look at that tongue. I want that tongue straight up my dirt pipe. What about the giant demon crab pincers? You take the good with the bad.
Looking very reproducible, all demons are energy and not biology. They cannot give birth or create new demons. Only their patron gods can do that. In order to make more demons, a chaos god will shed shards of itself with the goal of making those demons spread its influence, give it more power, and then allow it to shed more demon shards. The cycle continues to repeat. For the followers of chaos, it's just a lot of sex and not many condoms. If you're wondering, the answer is yes. Chaos cults are rife with STDs. No, that isn't written in the law, and it doesn't have to be for it to be true. Not just any STDs though.
It's just implied.
I mean, just think about it.
Yeah.
STDs. I wouldn't be surprised if their cocks had mutated into tentacles or fallen off at this point. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up Ra, the Golden Sun, or this funny little hat. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more sexual content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
The way he chose to say sexual is, I didn't like that. That didn't feel good. it's like get your tongue out of my ear, bro. Like
He's like, but you like it though. And I sell prawn.
He's like, bruh, I sell prawn.
I sell prawn.
What? Of all the videos all the videos,
Why
didn't he advertise the
he be
prawn
like- he's
on
like-
this
he's
video?
Like, he's like, look, I got, Warhammer 40k hentai.
It's like, talk about a missed opportunity, man.
I got the hentai, guys. I got it. Yeah. So yeah, by the way, he has his hentai on his Patreon.
Yeah.
Warhammer 40k.
Yep, he does.
Yeah.
And I have a calendar.
Yes, you do.
All right, everyone. This has been Team Adventurous reacting to MajorKill. Go check him out. The channel is MajorKill. If by some miracle you know who we are and don't know who he is.
Right. How?
Deuces.
Welcome to the adventure.